I drive down the road. I stop at a homeless facility. I survey 3 guys. I'm a mile down the road. Like looking back on it, I think, what were you thinking? But there were three homeless guys that were in their early 30s. And they were all Caucasian. That's hard to find. So trust me, I've looked, spent hours before finding these guys.
So that's like the golden thing you're looking for is white guys in their 30s.
Right. Because that's what I was in my 30s. That I wasn't an old man like I am now. So I survey them. I drive straight to Nashville.
Yeah.
Get to Nashville. Drive through an area called Green Hills. Well, at first, when I got to Nashville, I stayed the night, and the next day I went into, I'm going to say a UPS store. It was actually a Kinko's. They used to be called Kinko's, but
I remember Kinko's.
Oh yeah,
they got bought by FedEx. I feel like.
Oh, was it FedEx? FedEx. Okay, then it was a FedEx store. So I go in there,
Kinko's.
And you give them like $50 or something, or $20 or something. They'd give you like 100 business cards. So I go get a phone number, a burner phone. I go in there. I call and get a phone number from HQ, the local HQ. I come up with a name, Manufactured Funding Group. I've got 2 phone numbers. I get business cards made with a name. One of the guys' name that I surveyed was, his actual name was Joseph Marion Carter Jr. I went by Carter. So I get business cards made of Joseph Carter. Mm-hmm. I then drive through Green Hills. Took them like an hour to get the card. So I'm driving through Green Hills. I'm planning on going to an apartment, but I don't have an ID. I don't have anything. Like I'm wondering what am I going to do? How am I going to get a place to stay? I'm going to stay in a hotel. Like, what am I doing? I'm using an ID that the cops are looking for. So as I'm driving, trying to find this big apartment complex, there's a guy putting a sign in the front yard of like a townhouse, because several townhouses. And probably in his 60s, I pull in, jump out of the car, and I said, "Hey, is this for rent?" He said, "Yes, it is." And I said, "Oh, okay. Yeah, can I see it?" "Sure." I go in, check it out, come back downstairs. It's perfect. I said, "Listen, I work for a company, Manufactured Funding Group." Boom, hand him thing. I said, I've been in Europe for the last, I forget what I said. I said England. I had some little town outside of London, in Dexter, London for the past 5 years. I don't really have any credit, but I said I can put down double the security deposit, or whatever you need. Here's my business card. He looked at me, and he looked at my car, and he goes, "You look like an honest young man." He said, I'll take the first month's rent and a deposit." And he said, "Now go get a lease right now." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "Oh, okay." Filled out a lease right then, gave me the keys. Like, nice, like very trusting in that town.
Well, but there must have been also something about you where you're just.
I mean, I don't
got a nice car.
I know you're going to get a lot of comments that say white privilege, but that's what you're.
I think the charisma has something to do with it. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. So he gave me the keys. Listen, I ordered all of Joseph Carter's vital information, right? Like all of his birth certificate, social security card, everything. That night, from like a Kinko's or I forget where, but from one of these places, I went online. You could go online back then, right? Like there wasn't Wi-Fi everywhere. So I ordered the stuff. It shows up a couple days later. I take that information. I go and I get a driver's license. We're talking about within like 7 or 8 days, I've got a driver's license in his name. I get in that car, Michael Eckert's car. I drive it all the way back to Nashville. I leave it in long-term parking. Get on a plane, fly back to Nashville. Go in and buy myself a brand new car. It wasn't brand new, it was a couple of years old. But from like CarMax, within 2 weeks, I am completely 100% set up. I start dating for 3-4 months. That gets really boring. And
where again? In Nashville, you said?
Nashville.
Okay, got it.
So I start dating a bunch of chicks, and then I end up meeting this one girl.
By the way, are you lonely here because you're on the run?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, being on the run was the best part of my life.
Really?
Everybody, you know how all these guys say it was horrible, and I was always so concerned and looking over my shoulder, and it wasn't. I wasn't. Keep in mind, I've gotten I've gotten 5 or 6 traffic tickets while on the run. I went to traffic school as someone else. I got so many traffic tickets in his name. I went to traffic school as him. Like if I got pulled over, like I'm not concerned.
So your confidence just was
And I'm
over
driving
the top here.
driving a vehicle in the name of the driver's license that I have that was issued by that state,
Yeah.
full coverage insurance. I'm not an idiot. I'm not driving around a stolen car with a broken taillight and a body in the trunk. Like I'm covered. Like I'm not concerned about the local cops.
Plus, you're going to Starbucks, sipping your coffee and driving away from U.S. Marshals.
Right. That was.
You could start believing that it's impossible to catch you.
That is exactly what it is. It's every time I just kept getting more and more emboldened, more and more cocky, arrogant. Like they're not going to catch. I'm too good. Which is great until they catch you.
Yeah.
And so I meet a girl named Amanda Gardner. Well, what I end up doing is, keep in mind, I've only got 100,000 or so. So I go and I start buying houses in this area called J.C. Napier. It's just close to downtown. And I buy these houses and I buy them for like 60, 70,000. And I record the sales at 210, 190, 205, that sort of thing. Same thing. And I refinance the houses. I start pulling out money. I meet this girl, Amanda Gardner. We hit it off. Within a few months, she's moved in we move into a house in that area. I renovate a house. We move in there. I borrow $3.5 million and I'm buying houses now. I'm buying houses, recording the value. I start all over. I borrow like whatever, $3.5 million. I meet Amanda. We move in together. We're buying.
Did you tell her? Do you tell her about
she kind of, what she knew was that, it's odd, right? I have no photographs. Everything I own is brand new. She's like, there's nothing in this house that's more than 4 months old. So 6 months old. You have no photographs. You have no internet presence. You have no, it's every stick of clothing is brand new. You don't have old pairs of jeans.
Do you tell her stories about the past of any? Like, is there a fabricated?
Initially, there was a fabricated version that I owned a mortgage company. My typical story was like I owned a mortgage company and I got bought out by Household Bank. Started doing very well. I got bought out by Household Bank. I have a non-compete clause. I ended up with like $500,000 after paying off all my bills. And just decided to kind of travel around the U.S. And now I'm here and I'm going to start renovating houses. Nice. But that, you don't call home. Nobody calls you. Your family doesn't call you. You tell stories about your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, friends. I don't know any of these friends. Never seen any of these friends. They never call you. They never, it's like, shit. So at some point, I basically just said to her, look, listen, at one point I had to have a check cut. I refinanced the house, right? And I had like, I'm going to say something like, it might've been 30,000, but let's say 20,000. I had a $20,000 check cut to Amanda Gardner. Because you have to have these checks. You can't have them cut to me. So I would say, hey, there's a second mortgage on there. And I'd provide a second mortgage, or I'd provide different things. And I knew I need names of people to cut these things to. So I had a check cut for whatever. So I remember we're at dinner one night. This is before she really knows who I am. And I said, hey, oh, and she goes, oh, did you had to refinance? She goes, how'd that thing go? Your refinance? I went, oh, thank God you said that. Boom. I said, I need you to deposit this. Give her a check for 20,000. She's like, I can go tomorrow and I can deposit it. And and I'm like, no. I'm like, look, it's fine. Just deposit it. So I can get, as soon as it clears, I'll get you a cashier's check. I was like, no, just deposit it and keep it in your bank. It's fine. So she's like, what is going on? And so we have this conversation and I tell her, look, people are looking for me. Who? Law enforcement. Which ones? All of them. She's like, that doesn't even, for what? I go, mostly bank fraud. And she's like, well, how are they not finding you? Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody, people know you, like, your general contractor, which I met 4 months before. This guy 6 months before. This one 2 months before. She's like, so-and-so. And I'm like, right. Well, I said, well, she's like, I mean, they've got your name. They've got your, I go, well, that's identity theft. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, well, my name's not It's not Joseph Carter. And what is your name? I go, look, it's you don't even worry about it. This is what's happening. This is where I'm at. And this has been months into the relationship. I mean, I'd say maybe a month or two in. But, she was just too inquisitive. And, I know what it was. She found like $40,000 in cash in my freezer one night. That was another thing that happened. She went to get a popsicle and she opened up the flip to get a popsicle and she opened the wrong one and there was all cash. And she was like, the other day, in this conversation, she's like, the other day I opened up the popsicle box and there's cash. And I'm like, so I kind of explain it, but I had a feeling she's going to be okay with this,
So she was okay.
She was okay with it.
Like, I mean, to me, that's just a fascinating conversation to have. Like,
it was a great conversation.
Because oftentimes in relationships, you learn about each other and you find out new things. And here you find out.
That's a doozy.
Yeah, it's a good one to find out. The name you're using is not your real name. And the Secret Service, the FBI, and everybody else are looking for you.
Yeah.
And you're, like, to be honest, you're not a violent criminal. So it's like...
And I, but she didn't know my name. Like, she was like, and I told her, I said, look, if you start digging, if you find out my name, like, I'll leave. Like, there's certain things that catch you. Staying in contact with people that you know, that's how you get caught. Going back to see people, that's how you get caught. Telling people who you are, that's how you get caught. And I was like, so I'm Joseph Carter. Everything's fine. And she was like, okay. And keep in mind too, this girl, your car's broken or your car's not doing well? Take it and trade it in. We'll go get you another car. We'll go get you, an Infiniti, FX or whatever, a $55,000, $60,000 vehicle. She's driving the equivalent of a beat up old Nova. I mean, you want to go on vacation? We'll go on vacation. You want to do this? You want to do that? So, we're buying houses. We're renovating houses. We're building brand new houses. We're buying lots. Like, she's like in the middle of this, like, holy Jesus. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars in our bank account, her bank account. I open up a corporation in her name. She's opening up bank accounts. She's got there's websites. It's a lot. And while this is happening, we start seeing a friend of hers. So this other girl comes in the picture. Her name's Trina. And Trina is semi-lesbian. So
is this like a sexual thing?
Yeah.
Or actual relationship?
No, it's more like she's coming over a couple times a week.
Okay.
So we've got tons going on. And how do you put this? So while this is happening, I end up coming out in like several magazines. So I'm thinking this whole thing's dying down, but it's not dying down because now I just got caught and handcuffed in a bank, walked out of the police station, outran marshals. Although that part, the marshal thing was never in the papers, but the getting caught and handcuffed in the bank, when that hit the papers, that's everywhere, bro. That's huge. Suddenly Chicago Tribune's running a series, The Fugitives. I'm in Bloomberg Business Week. They run an article called, Sharks in the Housing Pool. Then you've got Fortune Magazine comes out with a thing because by now, guess what? Becky's been caught.
Oh, Becky.
Oh, Becky.
Is she in Houston or whatever?
In Houston, got caught.
And did she...
But gangster, bro. Like the way here's the thing.
Hey, there you go.
No. Oh, no, she told on me immediately.
Oh, she did?
Yeah,
oh, no.
It's fine. She did the right thing. So here's what's funny about that.
I don't know about that.
Here's what she says.
Loyalty is everything in this world, my friend. That you and I disagree on.
I just took off.
Still.
On her and left her with like $500,000 or $600,000 is what I left her with.
It's not all about money, Matthew. It's also about just like, ride or die. There's a meaning to that.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So
she said everything.
Well, here's what when I say gangster, when she gets caught,
yeah.
They come in, she's in the middle of beauty school. She's paid for beauty school. She's going through beauty school. She's going to open like a salon or something. So she's in there cutting hair in a class, on a mannequin. And all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 Secret Service agents come in, guns drawn, screaming, get on the ground, get on the ground. She said, everybody dropped to the ground. She said, I'm sitting there with scissors going. They grab her, they handcuff her, they bring her in. And the whole time, now at that point, she was Rebecca. Well, her name was Rebecca Hickey. She went by Becca. So she's Rebecca Hickey, which is she's got a Texas driver's license, the whole thing. And they're screaming at her, and they put her in the car, and they're driving the whole way. She goes, the Secret Service agent told me 45 minutes. She's telling us, you're losing your job, bro. You're losing. I mean, he's like, I couldn't believe it. Like we got pictures of her.
Yeah.
We're like, this is you. She's like, that's not me. Are you insane? Look at that chubby little thing.
Yeah.
She would not budge till they actually put her hand on the scanner. And she goes, okay, I'm Rebecca Houck. What do you need? They're like, where's Matt Cox? She's like, I have no idea. That fucker left me like a year ago. So,
but she contributed to the story, to the legend that's already growing.
Oh, because she was interviewed by Fortune magazine, and it was horrendous. The article is horrendous. He was abusive. He's a Don Juan that forced me to fall in love with him, commit mortgage fraud, and then took all the money and left. By the way, they found like 40 or 50 grand on her, and maybe another 30 or 40 in her bank account, and no other money.
Yeah.
Where's the other money? So anyway, and she was, by the way, she got caught. She was in communication with her family. So she's talking to her mom.
That's when she got caught ultimately.
And her mother through multiple conversations. One conversation being, Mom, I'm doing fine. I can't tell you where I am, exactly, but I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm fine. Next one, 6 months later, I enrolled in beauty school. Houston, Texas beauty school. How many are there?
Yep.
And her mom, bipolar. I just want to see my daughter.
Yep.
I'm going to call the Secret Service.
Yep.
I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, she is doing the right thing. So